Ayun, Kuya Namel, magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat.
Ayun!
Naka-live ba tayo, Kuya Namel? Audio ba?
Yun ang trademark natin. Magandang gabi po. At magandang umaga sa lahat ng mga taga-Pilipinas. July 19 na po sa Pilipinas. At dito naman sa Canada, Winnipeg, Manitoba. Tayo ay nagbo-broadcast ng live July 18, alas 10, 2 ng gabi. Dito po sa Winnipeg, Central Standard Time. Kumusta na po kayo, mga kaibigan?
Ayan, magandang gabi. Happy weekend na naman. Ang bilis ng panahon. July 18 nga, ang sabi panahon.
Ayun. At bago natin simulan lahat, mga kaibigan, siyempre, ang ating land acknowledgement muna sa The Kuya Noel and Tito Aldo Show. City of Pegwatch acknowledges that we are on Treaty 1 territory, the traditional gathering place of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene people, and the traditional homeland of the Métis people. Every time we acknowledge this truth, we have an invitation and opportunity to reflect on what we do and what we can do to make Manitoba a better place for everyone who lives in here. In Tagalog, kinikilala po ng the City of Pegwatch na tayo ay natitipon sa teritoryo ng Treaty 1, ang tradisyonal na lugar ng pagtitipon ng mga Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota at Dene, at ang tradisyonal na tinubuang bayan ng mga katutubong Métis. Sa tuwing kinikilala natin ang pagkakataong ito, ang katotohanan ito, meron tayong isang paanyaya at isang pagkakataon na pagnilayan kung ano ang ating ginagawa at kung ano ang maaari nating gawin upang gawing mahusay na lugar ang Manitoba para sa lahat ng naninirahan dito. Again, magandang gabi po sa inyo lahat and welcome to the City of Pegwatch, the Kuya Noel and Tito Aldus. Ang maaari nating gawin upang gawing mahusay. Ayun, Tito Aldus!
Ayun, umi-echo lang ako.
Echo, mga buenas yun.
Mga buenas yan, mga echo-echo. Ano pag-uusapan natin ngayong gabi?
Maraming nangyari. Talaga namang very, intriguing. Nakakapanayo ng balahibo yung
Bakit?
mga nangyari.
Bakit na naman, Kuya Noel?
Linggo ito, lalong-lalo na sa legislative building, alam naman lahat ang nangyari dahil unang-una, bibigyan natin ng background. Ang tinutukay po natin yung ating yung nangyari sa minister ng Indigenous. Opo, yung isa yung nag-resign. Si Aileen Clark. Si Aileen Clark po ay nag-resign as Manitoba's Indigenous and Northern Affairs Minister. In part because of a controversial comments made by Premier Pallister about Manitoba's ancestral history. So, ang nangyari po, hindi pinigilan ni Premier Pallister yung pag-resign ni Aileen Clark at nagkaroon ng reshuffling ng executive members. Ibig po sabihin nun, naglagay ng bagong minister ng Indigenous. So, itong linggo na to, noong Thursday, isinworn in po si Alan Ladmodier na minister ng Indigenous. At habang siya po ay nagpe-press release, kinakausap siya ng mga media, ay nabigla, medyo mali yung pagkakagamit niya ng salita, medyo pinagtanggol niya yung residential schools. At ang nangyari po noon, dahil sinabi niya, the residential schools o yung mga architects noon did the right thing, and the schools were not meant to actually to teach children skills para sa future nila. Yun daw ang intensyon ng residential schools. So habang nagko-conference nag-news conference na yun, habang may mga media doon sa ledge, andun din si Wab Kinup, leader ng opposition, kaibigan natin. Antimano, right there and then, pagkasabi niya noon, tumayo, nag-comment. Nag-comment si Wab Kinup, sinabi niya, I beg to disagree, sabi niya, hindi, I beg to disagree, sinabi niya. Pero, in-post niya yung sinabing statement ni Minister Alan Ladmodier Dahil mali ito. Hindi totoo na ang residential schools ay ginawa para hubugin ang skills ng mga bata, kundi para i-assimilate, para burahin ang pagiging katutubo ng mga bata. Yun ang sabi niya para maintindihan ng mga kabayan nating mga Pilipino. Na bakit niya ginawa yun? Hindi lang, ito dahil dun sa pag-research na din natin, ginawa po yun ni Wab Kinuh, hindi lang bilang leader ng opposition. Ginawa po niya yun at sinabi niya yun nung tumayo siya, because I am an honorary member of TRC, Treaty and Reconciliation Council, ako ay may pananagutan na tuwirin yung kasaysayan. At ang timano ay sabihin sa publiko na pag kami narinig na mali sa kasaysayan, ang timano right there and there itutuwid niya. Dahil meron po siyang meron siyang responsibilidad bilang witness. Witness po siya ng TRC, ng Treaty and Reconciliation Council. And narinig niya doon ang mga accounts ng mga naging biktima ng residential schools. Kaya ang timano ay nagkaroon ng diskusyon right there and there. Hindi naman diskusyon pero pinaliwanagan ni Wab Kinuh si Alan Lajmodier at hindi nga maganda itong simula para dun sa minister na yun. So after that, yung media hinahabol na to si Alan Lajmodier para sa further interview, particularly ng CJOB, pero hindi na nila mahagilap. Hanggang sa kasalukuyan, wala pa akong, as far as I know, wala pa akong naririnig na anumang interview coming from the new Minister of Indigenous, Dr. Alan Lajmodier. So, yun po yung kaganapan ngayong linggo na to. Medyo sablay.
Nagkamali siya.
Nagkamali. Siguro, hindi intention talaga, pero mali yung kanyang paliwanag. O mali yung paggamit ng word doon sa... Kasi mahirap talaga ipagtanggol, Tito Aldous Hindi mahirap talagang ipagtanggol yung institusyon na yun dahil alam naman natin na ginawa ang residential schools for the sole purpose of burahin ang native na personality ng isang bata. Burahin ang kanyang pagiging katutubo at mag-assimilate sa pagiging puti. Di ba? Ginagawa silang puti. Binubura yung kanilang kultura, binubura yung kanilang lengguwahe, binubura yung kanilang paniniwala, ang tradisyon, lahat-lahat para sila ay makapag-assimilate doon sa kulturang kolonyal. Ayon-ayaw ng mga witness na katulad ni Wab Kinuh. Siya po ay witness ng tumayo siya as witness doon sa TRC or Treaty and Reconciliation Council. Hindi lang po siya tumayo doon bilang, hindi ako spokesman ng NDP pero ito ang katotohanan, hindi siya tumayo doon not only being the leader of the opposition party but being a witness of TRC na meron siyang pananagutan. He is a steward for the history of the natives, especially with respect to residential schools. Yun ang malupit.
Oo. Kung nangyari. Mga kababayan, kung makita nyo ulit, i-browse nyo ulit sa YouTube yung interview na po yun, nangyari. Namula si Alan, Namula si Alan, napahiya siya talaga doon sa segment na yun.
Actually, nung pagkatapos ng interview na yun, bandang tanghali yun naabutan ko na yung interview kay Jon Reyes. Bilang siya ay Employment and Jobs Minister ng bagong portfolio po ito. Ang ating kababayan si Jon Reyes ay minister na po ng Pallister government. Siya po ay Economic Development and Jobs. Yan po ang kanyang portfolio na nahahawakan at mamaya po timing bago siya i-sworn in. Ito ito exclusive yung interview natin
Last 2 minutes yan Last 2 minutes kaya Kuya Noel
bago ma-sworn in si Jon Reyes, kausap po natin siya. At doon, pinag-usapan natin doon yung kanyang stand sa Bill 64, yung kanyang stand sa pagbubuwag ng rebulto ni Reyna Victoria sa ledge, yung kanyang stand on yung economic and jobs, being the former president and founder of Manitoba Filipino Business Council. So siya po nagtatag niya. Pinag-usapan po natin dyan sa ating interview sa kanya na mamaya po ay mapapakinggan natin. So we are very proud to have Jon Reyes in the cabinet. As nasabi naman po namin dito, we are not in favor or we are not part of any political organization, but we always give compliment and congratulations and give due respect sa mga kababayan natin na nagkakaroon ng contribution sa governance. Like this week, we are very honored to have our kababayan, Minister Jon Reyes. If you're listening right now, congratulate ko na siya. Nag-usap na kami and he's very thankful as well. But through this show, the City of Pegwatch and the Kuya Noel and Tito Aldo Show would like to extend our congratulations to you, having been sworn in as the new Minister of Economic Development and Jobs. And later on, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be hearing straight from the Minister himself on his ideas on economic development, jobs, his stand on education bill, which is he is in favor of Bill 64, and his comments about the toppling down of the statues of the queens at the ledge. So yun po yung perspektibo ng isang conservative na member na kababayan natin. Kasi narinig na natin sila Malaya, na alam naman natin na nag-o-oppose sa Bill 64. Ito naman si Jon Reyes, kababayan din natin, pero he is supporting Bill 64. At sinabi niya doon, hindi ko gustong i-preempt yung interview natin. Sabi niya, maging objective tayo. Mag-aral tayo, which is very true. Mag-aral tayo, pag-aralan natin kung ano talaga yung mga alituntunin at nasasaad sa Bill 64. And you will be knowing that information. You will be watching that information as we proceed to our program tonight. Ayun! Sarap mag-hotdog na yun.
Ayan, sarap mag-hotdog. Haba nung Kuya Noel.
Madami pa tayong mga topic eh. Talagang pagkaganitong oras, talagang kasi ito yung yung culminating event of this week. Now we are watching what's happening in the Philippines. We are watching what's happening in Manitoba and the whole of Canada. So sinabi na natin nangyari dito sa Manitoba. Ano naman nangyari doon, Tito Aldous?
Naku, si Pacquiao pa rin.
PDP laban.
PDP laban. Ayan na naman, nagkakagulo.
Ng National Assembly. Biyernes at Sabado, two-day convention o assembly. Nung Biyernes, sinimula po yan, Biyernes ng gabi. Ginawa nila, nagkaroon sila ng motion na ibakante ang lahat ng mga pwesto sa executive. No? Ibig sabihin nun, wala na presidente, wala na si Kusi, wala na kahit sino. So, dineclare na bakante. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Pagka dineclare na bakante, magkakaroon ng nominasyon. So, naging tuloy-tuloy na yon. The next day, na si Presidente Duterte at sinworn in na po. To make the long story short, tinanggal po sa PDP laban ang anak mismo ng founder nito na si Coco Pimentel, Senator Coco Pimentel, at ang president na si President by succession, because actually, in fairness to the Kusi group, si Senator Manny Pacquiao po ay hindi talaga na-elect. Nagkataon lang na merong umalis. No? At ito nagkaroon ng law of succession, kaya siya naging presidente. Pero hindi po siya naging presidente dahil sa isang National Assembly. Liwanagin po natin yun. Kaya yun ang hinahabol nila, yun ang hinabol at pinagtibay naman nung National Assembly. Hindi ako member din ng PDP laban, pero we follow them. At ang nangyayari nga po, ousted na to si Senator Manny Pacquiao as president, and even, ewan ko kung even member, but most definitely, most likely, he will be leaving the party. Kasi hindi na siya yung presidente, at alam naman natin na balak ng tumakbong bilang barangay captain. Ay, bilang barangay captain. bilang presidente ng Pilipinas. Ang naririnig ko, Tito Aldous,
sige.
meron daw MPP na tinatawag.
Ano yung MPP naman?
Yung MPP na yun, Manny Pacquiao for President. Pero, may iba pang ibig sabihin yun. Makabayang Pilipino Party or something like that. Pero ang acronym, MPP. So, yun yung abangan natin lahat dahil masaya to. Ito yung bagong partido na itatayo narinig ko lang ni Manny Pacquiao. At isa rin dapat abangan, ang presidente na ngayon ng PDP Laban, si Secretary Cusi, susuportahan ba ng PDP Laban? Magkakaroon ba ng alyansa ang PDP Laban kay Sara Duterte?
Ayan.
Sa partido niya, yung
hukbong pagbabago. Parang ganun.
Pagbabago.
Yeah.
At nagsabi, during masaya. Nagbiro, alam mo naman si President Duterte, napakahilig magbiro. Minsan hindi mo alam kung totoo o hindi, di ba? Sabi niya,
kung may immunity.
Kinukonsider ko na talaga na tumakbo ng Vice President para hindi ako mahabol ng gusto magdemanda sa akin. Nagkakaroon ako ng immunity. Dahil, however, merong mga critics na nagsabi, mga lawyers na nagsabi, na wala po nasusulat na may immunity ang Vice President.
Yes.
Ang may immunity, Presidente
lang.
Pero alam mo naman natin, hindi natin malaman sa kay President Duterte kung nagbibiro ba siya o totoo ba yung sinasabi niya o nangiinis lang siya, yung mga tipong gano'n. Yung karakter niya kasi iba. Di ba? Yung karakter niya, hindi kumot sinabi niya, yun na ibig sabihin, no? Kailangan pag-aralan mo yung sinabi niya ng isang holistic approach. Di ba? Ganun ang pagbasa doon. Siyempre, yung mga kalaban niya naman, sasabihin niya na, sinabi niya yan. Well, totoo, sinabi niya. Pero, the whole context of it, kailangan kino-consider. Dahil, ganun personal din doon tao
yun ang trabaho niya, no? Yun ang trabaho ni Secretary Panelo at saka ni Secretary Roque. Mag-interpret.
Ipaliwanag, depensa. So, yun ang nangyayari ngayon sa Pilipinas at magandang panoorin dahil lahat naman tayo Pilipino. So, yun. At doon sa consular office, wala pa rin tayong balita. And we're still waiting for the schedule of consular services here in Winnipeg. Once po na magkaroon tayo ng balita from the consular office, ay i-broadcast po natin dito. And even, you would like to siguro mag-invite tayo ng isang taga-consular office dito prior to the visit para magkaroon lang ng parang usapan na ano po ba ang mga kailangan. Halimbawa ako, Tito Aldous, pa-renew ako ng passport. Pupunta rito sa Winnipeg yung mga consular office. Ano ba dadalhin ko?
Yeah.
Ano ba kailangan? Ano ba requirements? Di ba? Ayun.
At least nakaklaro ng maayos, no?
Yun. Kaya yung mga may Philippine passport dyan, antabay lang po.
Handa lang kayo.
Patuloy kayong makinig dito sa ating programa.
Alam naman natin, excited na silang umuwi sa Philippines yung mga yan. Sabik na sabik.
Ay, lalo na pagka yung open na.
Bukas na.
Kaya lang, problema, Indonesia, Tito Aldous.
Kaya magandang negosyo ngayon, travel agency, Kuya Nabel.
Pero yung nabanggit mo sa Indonesia, medyo delikado. Dahil dumadami ang kaso ng dyan. Delta. At napakalapit sa Pilipinas. Kaya, although marami na pong nabakunahan sa Pilipinas at dito sa Canada, particularly dito sa Manitoba, ingat pa rin tayo. Ako, alam ko, Tito Aldous, kailan ka nag-second shot mo?
3 weeks ago, yung aking second shot.
Meron ka na bang ID card?
Wala pa. After 14 days daw Sabi after 14 days.
So,
parating na yun.
Parating na yun. Yun na yung passport natin. Pagka gusto mo manood ng Winnipeg Bombers, Winnipeg Jets.
Lahat.
Manood na lahat yan. Pupunta ka sa bar.
Sa restaurant.
Brad, fully vaccinated ako.
Pwede.
Ngayon sa akin po, second shot namin ni Mrs. ni Commander last Saturday lang. Itong
Nakarang Sabado.
Bigat yung Mabigat sa balikat yung
Balikat.
pangalawa, kamara. Oo.
Sa akin
Yun
nun,
ang
kinandyan water ko lang sa akin nun, Kuya Noel eh.
Ay, oo nga. Kaya ako, medyo masigla na ngayon dahil dun. Ang tinira ko lang, hindi Tylenol, bro. Kanjin water.
Kanjan water.
Oo,
Yan lang.
binabalik natin si Kuya Hill, Gatpayat.
Ay,
Ibibili yung anak niya ng pinakamahal na kanjin machine.
Yung K8, ano?
Si Gideon, Gatpayat. Ayun. Yeah. Kaya ihahandaan natin yung mga papeles yan. Kaya po kung gusto nyong mag-avail din ng mga machines, yan, magsisimula ng magkaroon ng mga networks yan si Mr. Hill Gatpayat.
Ayan.
Ang niyan, ang area niyan, Stanley Knolls School. Tapos mga tropa dyan, sila Manjani. Ay!
Si Mang Juan, ano? Marami yan.
Oo, yan ang mga susunod na kukuha na ng Candian machine. Anyway, ano pa mga balita dito, Aldous? Sa mga
yan yung pinaka-highlight ng balita natin, Kuya Noel. Yung nangyari yan sa Ledge. Tapos ano pa yung mga nangyari? Mga sunog-sunog. Marami. Ingat-ingat lang mga guys, no? Bawal muna mag-barbecue, charcoal barbecue sa likod natin. At kung as much as possible, yung fire pit po natin, yung nagbo-bonfire po, medyo iwas-iwas ng konti. At very dry po ang ating buong Manitoba at walang ulan. No? So yun ang ating panawagan sa ating mga taga-Winnipeg.
Yo, tsaka always hydrate yourselves. Kasi sobrang init eh. Alam mo naman tayo, di ba? Tindero tayo pareho eh. Lagay itong weekend, yung kasagsagan ng delivery natin, talagang tuyot ako, Brad. Sa tubig, no?
Tubig.
Buti na lang, meron akong baong isang jug.
Ano yun? Kangen? Alkaline?
Alkaline water. Pagkain ko talagang, kasi iba yung yung na-hydrate ka sa molecular level. Hindi na-hydrate ka lang na bloated ka lang. Ito, na-hydrate ka sa yung cells mo mismo.
Yeah.
Kaya very important po yung hydration. Iwas po tayo sa mga heat stroke. At ang importante po yan ay i-hydrate natin ang sarili natin sa tamang tubig. Kaya po pinopromote natin dito yung alkaline water at yung Kangen machine nga po na pwede nating i-install. At the comfort of your homes, pwede na po tayo mag-install ngayon dahil open na ang mga businesses. Kaya kung sino man ang gusto sa inyo din na magkaroon ng
Kangen machine.
Kangen machine. Gusto nyo mag-demo tayo sa inyo, imbitahin nyo lang po. Wala kaming talent fee pagka ginawa nyo. Libre.
Ang kagandahan ko yun, yung sasabi mo, tama ang sabi mo, ina-hydrate natin yung kalooban natin. Kailangan i-hydrate yung skin naman natin. Yung beauty water ng Kangen machine.
Beauty water.
Yan.
Ayos. So yun po Alan Ledge mo, Jay.
Yes.
Isang showdown na nangyari sa Ledge. Sa Pilipinas naman, PDP laban issue. Pinag-usapan natin. At congratulations, Jon Reyes, sa iyong bagong posisyon, bagong big portfolio sa province of Manitoba, being our Minister of Economic Development and Jobs. At dahil po dyan, we are very honored to show you our interview with none other than, first time po to, dito nyo lang mapapanood ang first interview ni Minister Jon Reyes after his swearing in as Minister of Education Minister of Economic Development and Jobs. Ito po yung unang interview. Exclusive interview po.
Exclusive.
Ng The City of Peg Watch.
Sige, Kuya Noel.
And Tito Aldo Show.
Habang ginagawa mo yan, Kuya Noel, at play natin muna itong may ads na tayo, Kuya Noel, ha?
Ay, gano'n ba?
Bago mo gawin yan, play natin muna ito.
Play na natin yan.
Ayan. Ayun, Kuya Noel. Ayun. This segment is brought to you by Santa Lucia, Santa Lucia hotdog, Viva hotdog, at saka yung ating bagong-bago Sagana Red Hot Dogs. Ayan. Sige, Kuya Noel, take it away.
Okay, play na natin yung ating interview, Tito Aldous. Ito na po ang ating interview with the Minister of Education bakit education ako ng education? Minister of Economic Development and Jobs, the MLA of Waverly, and Minister himself, Jon Reyes. Ito na po.
All right, first of all, John, thank you very much for your time today. Finally, I can interview the Kuyas of the Kuya. No, I am the Kuya. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our kababayan, Jon Reyes. Say hi to our kababayans, John.
Thank you. Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Magandang po sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Jon Reyes, MLA of Waverly. Miyembro ako ng Manitoba Legislature dito sa Manitoba, sa Winnipeg. And I'm very proud to be here on Kuya Noel's show and to just get to know, for you to get to know me, I guess, and just what I do in my role as an MLA, and as well as inform you of some of the things that we're doing to help our kababayans. And most recently, I just want to mention that we are going to be helping those internationally educated nurses. That's been a long time coming. That hasn't been done even with the previous administration, but we're very happy because, Canada, not only Manitoba, but Canada needs nurses. And we know that many of our kababayans, my wife included, works as a nurse. Yeah. My mother-in-law works as a nurse. I have many aunties that have worked as a nurse from my wife's side. And one of the dilemma has always been recognizing foreign credentials. There's a lot of regulatory bodies, and that's a challenge when you're moving from province to province, and it's a challenge when you're coming from a different country such as the Philippines. So, recently we announced funding to help our kababayans who are internationally educated nurses, so that they can be they can become a nurse here in Manitoba, and that will tremendously help our healthcare here in our province.
There you go. That's a super early message. I haven't asked you any question yet, but you hit it in the nail. That is a very good message or information to our kababayans, especially with those who are coming from the Philippines who have this educational background as a nurse, right?
Right.
So, but before we move on, John, most Filipinos are obviously, we all know that reside in the north part of the city. Why did you run in the south?
That's a good question. I was born and raised in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I went to school at Tyndall Park, community school in Tyndall Park. And I graduated from Sister High School, so both schools in the north part of the city. The reason why I'm in the South End, I guess I should just back up. After I graduated high school, I actually joined the Canadian Armed Forces as a reservist, and I enjoyed my time as a reservist so much that I joined the regular force and joined the Navy. So I joined the Army and joined the Navy. When I came back to Winnipeg, because I completed my university degree in Victoria, the reason why my wife Cynthia and I moved back to Winnipeg is because, we had our child Lorena, who's now 19 and going to second year university. We moved back to Winnipeg because both sets of our parents are here. So it was very important to come back to family. It was more affordable to move back to Manitoba as compared to British Columbia. I love the West Coast, don't get me wrong, but Manitoba, Winnipeg has always been my home. And so you ask, why did I run in the South End? Well, my wife is from the South End. I lived for like a year and a half with my in-laws in the South End, and so that's why I'm an MLA in the South End. So I guess a lot of people have been asking why is Jon Reyes, who went to Sister High School, was a proud Sister High School graduate from the north part of the city, right in the South End. But there's your story. There it is. The most beautiful woman on earth is from the South End, and that's why I ran the South End. So
talking about South End, John, can you update us of what's going on in your constituency? What's up at Waverly? What's happening there?
Well, in Waverly, in terms of the pandemic, there's some really great groups that have stepped up. Women's Color Leadership Color Initiative. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but they've actually stepped up and provided a pop-up clinic for people who need the vaccine, as well as the Manitoba Islamic Association at the Grand Mosque, as well as, you know what, in terms of investments, you know, we are planning to build 2 new schools in my area, so a K-8 and the high school. And we're working also as well with the City of Winnipeg and the federal government to put a community center out here, because this quadrant, Waverly West, is the fastest growing quadrant in the City of Winnipeg. If you see the stats, they released the stats, I believe, last month. So there are many things happening here. There are many needs here, and many new Canadians here. For those of our audience who've never been to Waverly West, Bridgewater, Prairie Point, South Point, this is a newer development as compared to the rest of Winnipeg, and it's very, very multicultural. So I'm very proud to represent this constituency, because it's definitely it's a mosaic. You know, it's a lot of new Canadians. I'm very proud to represent them.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, when I came here in Winnipeg, in Canada, more than 10 years ago, I worked at City Hall and I met Jon Reyes as a businessman, right? Do you remember that, John? During the your printing company? Now, and then after that, I heard you and I saw you were very active in the community. You founded the Manitoba Filipino Business Council. Briefly, John, why and how did you come up with that very good, very great idea? And how is the council now?
Well, thank you for that question. You know, I'm very proud to have been a founder along with some other entrepreneurs, developing the Manitoba Filipino Business Council. How that came about was that when we first opened our business and our second business, the UPS store in Kenaston Common, my wife attended the Women Business Owners of Manitoba event, and every month they would have a speaker. They would talk about HR, time management, marketing. And I went to myself, you know what? Why don't we have this in the Filipino community? Because we have so many entrepreneurs in our community. Why don't we have our own organization? So, with having talked to RBC, Larry Vicker, I was able to get them on board in terms of sponsoring the Manitoba Filipino Business Council for the first couple of years. And we fast forward, we developed relationships with the World Trade Center Winnipeg, the Manitoba Chambers of Commerce, Winnipeg Chamber of Commerce. We actually did a trade mission out to the Philippines with the Manitoba Filipino Business Council to build contacts for our members here in Winnipeg. So I did that for 5 years, and the Manitoba Filipino Business Council is still in existence. They have a new president, that first female president. I'm very proud. Is Jackie Wild, who actually was a volunteer at one point, just a young volunteer with the Manitoba Filipino Business Council, which started back in 2010. So I think she came around 2011 or 2012. Here we are 9 years later, and we have a first female president. I'm very proud as a pioneer that we have Jackie Wild as the president and Katrina Daaka as the vice president, who actually was my executive assistant with the Manitoba Filipino Business Council back in 2010. So I'm very happy, that we have some strong women, some strong leadership taking it over, and I'm very excited for them. I'm always here to help.
Very nice. Now, during my research, before as I prepped for my interview, on May 28, 2019, you introduced resolution number 14. At the ledge, titled Filipino Heritage Month. Can you tell us, our audience, tell us more about this resolution? What happened?
Well, the resolution was to recognize, the contributions of Filipinos in Manitoba. Because when you're recognizing the community, what have they contributed to Manitoba? And at the time in 2019, the resolution was able to pass. Well, I can tell you, even from a non-partisan, just non-partisan. This was a resolution that was non-partisan, just like my bill was, and we can talk about that as well. Is that we've had the first Filipino MP come from the province of Manitoba. We've had the first Filipino MLA come from the province of Manitoba. And then fast forward 5 MLAs, I believe we had. Let me name off. We had Dr. A. Pakatan was the first MP, but before him we had Dr. Conrad Santos, who was the first MLA. Then we had Mr. Chris Agudu. We had Ms. Flora Marcelino, Mr. Ted Marcelino, myself, and now Malaya Marcelino. And I cannot also forget to mention your former boss, Councillor Mike Paktakan, the former deputy mayor. So as a Filipino Canadian from Winnipeg, that makes me proud, regardless of your political stripe. So I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud to let Manitobans know about that. So and not only from a political standpoint, let's talk about the businesses that have come here. The Jollibees, the Seafood Cities, the Max's fried chicken. You have these Filipino businesses coming here because of the influence of the Filipino community, and not only Filipinos go to these businesses. We have a lot of non-Filipinos, all Manitobans going to these businesses. I mean, my assistant, who's from Vernon, Manitoba, right, loves the Filipino spaghetti, loves it, loves the peach mango pie, right? So we've had a lot of contributions from a social, economic, cultural standpoint, and it's continuing. Our population is growing, and not only in Winnipeg, but in rural Manitoba as well.
Yeah. I want to go back years back, rewind for a bit. I remember years ago, John, that you ran for PC nomination in the Maples area or Maples riding. How was that experience, and what did you learn from that, John?
You you learn how to connect with people, and you learn how you learn from losses, you learn from failures. But a lot of people had told me after I had was not successful in that nomination, that other doors would open. And at the time, I didn't know what they were going to be. I mean, after I lost that nomination, I'm going to be honest here, I'm going to tell our audience, I was actually devastated. My wife and I were, because we had worked so hard. But you know what? Just by continuing to work hard and by having some good people around you, I was able to secure the nomination in St. Norbert in 2015, later that year, and then became the MLA on April 19, 2016, and then got reelected in 2019. So I'm very blessed. It was a learning experience, and I'm glad I went through the process. And I encourage anyone that wants to get into politics. I mean, feel free to contact me, but it's not an easy road. And if it was easy, just like I say, business and politics, if it was easy, then everybody would be trying to do it, but it's not. Yeah. And it takes a lot of courage. I respect anyone that puts their name on a ballot, regardless of their political stripe. And it's a personal sacrifice between your own time and your family. But you know what? I just have a desire to serve, and I've done it all my life with the military, through business. Serving in nonprofits, and here I am today as an MLA here in Maple.
I want to segue to that. How's the support from the Filipino community to Jon Reyes?
The Filipino support has been really good. Obviously, we don't have as large population Waverly as compared to the north part of the city, but I'm going to tell you something, Noel. Anyone that calls me, regardless if they live in the riding or not, I'm there to help them, especially during these COVID times. Yeah, I mean, if people feel comfortable phoning up their fellow kababayan who's an MLA, regardless if they're not if I'm not the representative, I will make the time to help, because that's what we're here as elected officials.
Segue to helping. Bill 64 is a hot issue not only among Filipinos but to all Manitobans. As a parent like me, as a family member, or as a student, what do we need to know about, in a very high level explanation, what do we need to know about Bill 64 and why should we support that?
I think with Bill 64, I think everyone should, take the time to go on to the website for Bill 64 to really understand. They can feel free to give me a call. But I think the main thing is to not be influenced by the media, not be influenced by be very objective when it comes to it, because the current system has been going on for, I believe, 150 years, I believe. And you know what? Just like computer systems, we have to upgrade and we have to look at things differently in order to move forward. But here's the thing that I'm going to say, with all due fairness to those who may oppose Bill 64, because here's the thing. The wonderful thing about living in Canada and Manitoba is that we have a democracy. And part of that democracy is having your voice heard. So we do have these committee hearings that are open to the public, and they will be allowed to voice their opinion, and they'll be allowed to actually listen to the Minister of Education in terms of this bill. So all I can say is be objective on how you look at Bill 64 and go to the website so that you can find out the facts. And again, feel free to contact my office. I have no problem sending the information.
John, July 1st incident in front of the ledge. What is your reaction on the removal of the statue of the Queen?
I was disappointed. Because
I think I'm cutting you.
sorry.
Yeah. So I was just asking, what is your reaction on the removal of the statue of the Queen, which happened on July 1st?
Well, I think first of all, I was very surprised. I was very disappointed that certain few have to resort to vandalism, because I don't think the majority of Manitobans are for vandalizing public property. And the one thing I want to say is that the day I did a private member statement on Filipino Heritage Month, it was actually on the Monday, but that weekend we discovered the bodies of the 215 children in Kamloops. I went to myself, I can't do this statement and be happy about celebrating Filipino Heritage Month. I didn't mention Filipino Heritage Month, but I did mention the fact that, you know what happened this weekend, as Filipinos, as Kababayans that came to this land, we have to recognize those who came before us on this land, and this being our Indigenous people. And we mourn with you, and I can tell you that the leader of the opposition actually reached out to me and thanked me for my statement, told me that he would celebrate Filipino Heritage Month, and thanked me for the statement that I had, because it was a very genuine statement I had for what happened. I was just shocked when I heard of that, and we continue to hear these discoveries, but we have to work together to move forward. Vandalizing public property will only take us back, and it's making it look bad for all of us. So we have to work together.
John, I know you're busy. This is my last question for you. This is my favorite question of the day. Brian Bowman will no longer seek re-election as the big mayor, as we all know. Would you consider running for mayor, John?
You know what? Thank you for the question. I'm flattered. But right now, their election would be next year.
Yes.
I'm committed to serving the province till 2023. So I remain committed and loyal to the position I'm in, and I want to be fair to the people of Waverley, because that's my mandate, to serve the people of Waverley and to make sure that I advocate for them. But I'm flattered that you asked me that question. But I'm happy where I'm at right now as a member of Legislative Assembly for the constituency of Waverley, and representing Manitobans, also in my role as the military envoy.
Okay. Sorry, I lied. That was not my last question. However, would you consider running for mayor in the future?
Would I consider running for mayor of Winnipeg in the future? Is that your question?
Yes.
That's a really good question, Kuya Noel. And all I can say is I'm very flattered that you're asking me that question, but I remain committed to the province.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, yan po si ating kababayan, Jon Reyes. Maraming salamat, John. All the best to you. We will chat again. Alright?
Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat, to all our kababayans in Winnipeg and in our province. Thank you.
At ayun po mga kaibigan, si Minister Jon Reyes, malino po, wala siyang balak tumakbo ng mayor.
Walang balak. Oo.
Walang balak. Province. So, marami siya tinalakay doon from his role as the former president of Manitoba Filipino Business Community Council and being a military man, tapos yung bill niya na tutulungan yung mga nurses. Ito yung pag-accredit din sa mga nurses sa iba't ibang bansa, hindi lamang Pilipinas, pagpasok nila rito sa Manitoba. Sana ang maasikaso to, no? Dahil marami ditong mga nurses from the Philippines, ang bagsak dito, healthcare aid.
Iba yung trabaho.
Iba trabaho. Kung maayos nila yan, ay, napakaganda niya at marami tayong matutulong mga kababayan, lalo na yung may talaga mga registered nurses sa Pilipinas. Talaga naman magagaling.
Yeah.
Tapos isa pang pinaliwanag ni John Don na sa Bill 64, kung gusto natin ng information, magbasa tayo ng website.
Yeah. Huwag maniwala.
At umattend tayo dun sa mga town hall meetings kasama si Minister of Education Cullen. At ano pa ba yung mga sinabi niya? Suporta na yung experience niya sa politika dahil natalo po yan dati ng nomination ng PC sa Maples. Devastated silang mag-asawa, di ba? Sinabi niya naman. Pero learning curve yan sa kanila. Dahil talagang porsigido siyang maglingkod sa bayan. So eventually, hindi siya nanalo sa North, nanalo siya sa South, at ngayon, minister na si Jon Reyes. Tinan mo nga naman. Tinan mo nga naman ang buhay, Brad.
Weather lang yan.
weather lang yan. So, ganyan lang. At yun po, kung kayo may mga tanong kay Waverly, kung nakatira kayo sa Waverly, at kung hindi man, if you have any questions regarding the present government, kasi po, bakit natin i-interview si Minister Jon Reyes? Kasi siya yung Pilipino na nasa Conservative Party. Ngayon, kung meron tayong mga concerns, issues, regardless kung taga-Waverly kayo or hindi man, sinabi naman po niya yun eh. His office is open for any question. You can call him. Magtanong po kayo kung meron kayong mga questions about provincial programs, policies, Bill 64. Tawagan niyo si Jon Reyes para matulungan kayo at maliwanagan po kayo.
Ayun.
Ayos.
Matulungin po yan. Kababayan yan.
Si Kababayan Minister Jon Reyes. Thank you very much for your time, John, if you're watching right now.
Ayun. Tapos na naman. Ang bilis ng oras.
10:49 na eh.
Ayun.
At yun po, ang susunod po nating sama-sama together, ang ating chikahan ay next week again. Same time, alas 10 po ng gabi. Dito sa Winnipeg, Manitoba. Diyan po sa Pilipinas. Malagay ko, 11 o'clock ng tanghali. So, tanghalin tapat siguro tayo dyan. Napapanood sa Pilipinas. Binabati natin ang lahat ng gusto nating batiin. Tito Albus.
Ayun, yung ating suki, si Teresita Rabanal.
Yung
Mamsi. Yes, ito si Kejun Zhao. Thank you for watching. And Lily Skinner. Thank you for watching as well. Peter Godoy, thank you for watching kanina. Monico Crisostomo, thank you for watching as well. And our sponsors, of course, Cindy Lamoureux and Kevin Klein.
At sa lahat ng ating mga sponsors na hotdogs. Tatlong hotdog yan. Viva, Santa Lucia, and Sagana. Si Eloisa, si Ramil Santa Lucia, at si Ate Ruth na nasa Calgary. Tatlo nating kaibigan na may-ari ng mga
big time
manufacturer, mga big time. Ay lamang ang mga tindero dito sa Manitoba. Alright. At kung kayo po ay mayroong issue na gustong talakayan dito sa ating show, don't hesitate to send us a message. Yung numbers po namin yan ay matatagpuan sa aming screen. Kung gusto nyo ring mangutang, ay mangutang.
Wag.
Kung gusto nyo rin magtanong, yun, mga bakit mo mangutang si Naika? Kung gusto nyo mong mag-suggest
Yeah.
na mga issues na gusto natin talakayan. Issues. Meron kayong mga tanong, meron kayong mga GoFundMe, fundraising, events. Pwede nyo i-promote dito yun. Tawag lang po kayo. O mag-text lang kayo kay Tito Aldus. Yan po ay ating public servant ng Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Wag lang mangungutang.
Okay. Ayaw mangungutang. Tapos yung paghanda natin, Chapelon.
Yung ating chapelon. Yes. Yung ating Kuya's Foods rin. Yan. Especially pag summer na ganito.
Kami ho naman hindi lang hindi lang public service yun. Ito pong ginagawa namin dito ay walang bayad. Pero kami po ay mga negosyante rin at tumutulong sa ekonomiya ng ating pamayanan dito sa Winnipeg, Manitoba. Kaya magsama-sama po tayong muli. Ito po ang inyong Kuya Noel.
Ay, Tito Aldus, naglilingkod po.
Ayan. Ang gusto ko. Dito lamang sa
The City of Pegwash. Kuya Noel, Tito Aldus Show.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. Ayan, meron tayong ending ngayon, Kuya Noel eh. Okay.
Sige.
Thank you.
Ayos na, friend. Iyan ka na. Okay. Ang galing.